They're a unit so secret, even other special forces don't fully know what they're doing. Not just classified missions, but entire operations that never officially happened. No reports. No acknowledgement. Just rumors, fragments, and the occasional leak that disappears as quickly as it surfaced. And the strangest part? Some of the most powerful people in the world depend on them, without ever being able to admit it. Because in this world, the less you're known, the more dangerous you probably are. And one unit in particular has built its entire reputation on that idea. Nobody is supposed to talk about Delta Force. Officially, they barely exist. The military avoids naming them directly, and yet reports suggest they receive funding and resources that rival entire divisions. It is a contradiction that only makes sense if you understand one thing. Delta isn't meant to be visible. Selection into the unit isn't just about strength or endurance. It's about how you think when everything falls apart. Split-second decisions, controlled aggression, the ability to operate without hesitation and without recognition. There's been quiet speculation for years that Delta has operated in regions the U.S. was never officially present in. Missions that never made headlines but somehow shifted outcomes behind the scenes. What makes them different isn't just skill, it's silence. Operators don't talk. They don't write books. Most of the time, they disappear back into normal life like nothing ever happened. And that's what makes it unsettling. Because if you never hear about failure, you also never hear how close things came to going wrong. But even Delta doesn't operate alone. If Delta is the scalpel, Rangers are the hammer. The 75th Ranger Regiment doesn't hide what it does. Speed, aggression, and overwhelming force, that's the formula. When something needs to be taken fast, they're already moving before most people even know there's a problem. Their training pushes people past the point where logic says stop. Weeks of exhaustion, barely any food, almost no sleep. By the end, some candidates are seeing things that aren't there and are still expected to lead missions. But that's the point. Rangers aren't just trained to fight. They're trained to function when everything feels broken. Unlike more secretive units, Rangers operate at scale. Entire airfields taken in minutes. Objectives secured before sunrise. Then they're gone resetting, redeploying, doing it again. It's relentless, but not every mission is about force. Some of the most impactful operations don't look like combat at all. Green Berets don't just fight wars, they change them. Instead of kicking doors down, they build relationships. Entire networks, sometimes even entire fighting forces from scratch. It's slower, quieter, but in many cases far more powerful. You might never hear their names, but reports claim small teams have influenced conflicts in ways that took years to fully understand. Training local forces, guiding operations from the background, shaping outcomes without ever taking center stage. They blend in, live like the people around them, speak the language, understand the culture, earn trust over time. And that's where things get complicated. Because when you become part of the environment, the line between observer and participant starts to disappear. Some say that's what makes Green Berets so effective. Others say it's what makes their work so hard to fully track. But none of these missions would even be possible without the unit that gets them in and gets them out. You don't land where the mission is. Not usually. Sometimes there's no runway, no safe zone, just a tight rooftop, power lines, and darkness thick enough to hide everything, except the sound of rotors getting closer. That's where the night stalkers come in. The 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment flies missions most pilots wouldn't attempt. Low altitude, no lights. Weather that would ground commercial aircraft instantly. They're the reason operations happen at all, and yet they're almost never the focus. There have been whispers, unconfirmed reports of missions that didn't go as planned. Aircraft lost under conditions no one publicly explained. Details that never fully surfaced. But that's the pattern. Success is silent, and failure is even quieter. Still, when precision matters more than anything else, another unit steps in. One that the entire world has heard of, but still doesn't fully understand. DEJQ changed everything in 2011. The operation that took down Osama bin Laden put them in the spotlight overnight. For a moment, the most secretive unit became the most recognized. But that visibility didn't last, because behind that one confirmed mission, there are dozens more that were never acknowledged. And that's where the speculation starts. Selection into DVU goes beyond physical limits. It's about decision-making when the margin for error disappears, when every choice has consequences, and there's no time to second-guess. They operate in small teams, fast, precise, controlled. And while regular SEAL teams are already among the best in the world, DVU exists at a different level entirely. Still, even they don't work in isolation, because before any of these units move, someone else has already been there, watching. Long before the mission starts, the real work is already happening. The intelligence support activity doesn't look like a combat unit. No uniforms, no obvious presence. Just people blending into everyday environments, building a picture piece by piece. It has been said that ESA teams can track a target's entire routine without ever being noticed. Where they go, who they meet, when they're vulnerable. By the time a direct action team arrives, there are no surprises left. And that changes everything. Alongside them, units like the 24th Special Tactics Squadron quietly control the chaos, coordinating air support, guiding strikes, making split-second decisions that can shift the entire outcome of a mission. Then there are Marine Raiders working long-term, training partner forces, building stability in places most people will never see. Individually, each unit is powerful. Together, they create something far more complex. A system where every move is calculated, every role connected, and every outcome carefully shaped. And most of it happens without anyone ever realizing, because that's the part no one talks about, not the training, not the gear, not even the missions themselves. It is the fact that some of the most significant operations in modern history may have happened without ever being confirmed. No headlines, no recognition, just quiet changes that ripple outward over time. So the real question isn't how capable these units are. It's how much of what's already happened we were never meant to see. And if that's true, what's happening right now that we don't know about? Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the shadows as fascinating as we did, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that exist just beyond what we retold.